Deadair Hardcore Radio, exploring the world's best hardcore punk and all the various subgenres. For the next 2 hours we will enter a world apart from the rest. The time is now.
Stand to the side, be right the hardcore ride. How can you save me when you can't save yourself? Ready to fight.
Yo, what's up with that? Let's start jamming.
Stuck on this.
Young and dumb, choosing justice fantasy. Fresh out of the academy. Fight to lose and bust his head, make your day. Unless you pay up, then you look away. Do you think this corruption will ever stop? What makes a person wanna be a cop? Ran a red like storm his house and bust the guy. Do you like to see his children cry? Pick up a hooker, take her for a little ride, but get sucked off on the side. Sworn to serve and protect, but get to killing. Badge wearing, fascist villain. Piss on the street, bust the guy. Do you like to see his children cry? Back means you suck, child, face them dead. As you look back, what goes through your head? Some still call him pig. Some still call him pig. Young and dumb, truth and justice fantasy. Fresh out of the academy. Fight to lose and bust his head, make your day. Unless you pay off, then you look away. He burned a flag from the house and bust a guy. Do you like to see his children cry? Up a rug and take it for a little ride. Get slipped up on the side. The back that you suck, a child lays there dead. As you look back, what goes through your head? Work it out. You better not even try it. Make a play for his gun. They'll kill you, say it was a riot. Riot!
Stuck on this.
What's behind the badge?
All right, what's up? You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. We are a 2-hour punk and hardcore radio show / podcast. It's pretty simple. We play lots of punk, hardcore, adjacent genres, a lot of mix mash of just about everything. We try to keep it as new as possible. We sometimes do segments. A lot of times we just play music, talk with local friends, as well as bands from all over the world. That was a decent description that I haven't done in a while for the show. So if you were new, don't get used to it, because sometimes I go all over the place. You can listen to us all over the place. We have a general hub is deadairhardcoreradio.com. We have all of where we play, all of our live affiliates all over the world. We have up to like 7 different places you can hear us live or syndicated. And then we have the Spotify's, as well as iTunes, Anchor, and also the Google Plus. I believe we are in a couple other places, but weirdly, where we go through Anchor as our hub, and they're supposed to like automatically put us into places, but that didn't really happen for some reason. So it's very weird. So it's more of a general show today. I just decided I didn't want to deal with bed music, even though usually when I'm alone, I do bed music. So I'm going to try to keep the breaks kind of short and sweet, because we have a lot of talking. So this week, we're going to be talking to Danny from San Diego, who does many bands, was vocalist of Drug Control, currently plays guitar in Headcount, San Diego, and also has a project that's kind of a social distancing project with Rusty here in the Northwest, who formerly of Safe and Sound, as well as currently in the band Real. Rusty and Danny have a quarantine project called Agenda. So we're going to be talking all about that in a little bit. Before that, we started out with kind of a little tribute. We played Poison Idea, The Badge. Unfortunately, the Slayer hippie, Stephen Hanford, past drummer from Portland's Poison Idea, passed away last week at 50. Also was in bands such as Fetish, and currently, before he passed, was in The Accused AD, up here in the Seattle Pacific Northwest area. Funny thing with me and Poison Idea, I was very familiar with the Peak Your King EP years ago, and had a certain idea when I was just like a lot of my hardcore tendencies of looking at albums as someone who is, I would say I hadn't had a lot of hardcore friends 10 plus years ago. So a lot of my, the stuff that I found was stuff that I would favorite and like on YouTube, and just like kind of go down the rabbit hole, and just didn't have too many people to talk with. So not a lot of people. So only like a few people here and there to put me onto more actual hardcore bands that were actually influenced and real punk hardcore bands. So a lot of stuff I listened to was metal influenced. I remember, I think I was listening to some Earth Crisis. I might have had an Earth Crisis shirt on at the time, and then some punk was like, fuck that shit, you need to listen to Poison Idea. I was like, I have. And it was like, and then put on The Badge, and I was seriously kind of thrown away from the Feel Your Darkness. I was kind of blown away from the Feel the Darkness, from the 1990 Feel the Darkness LP, which was just like an explosion, a very big sounding record of lots of like contemporary metal and rock mixed with a very evil punk feel. And also the fact that they were from Portland gave me like just a different respect for just like the Northwest and music, because a lot of stuff that I was pulling from was not very punk, I would say 10, 12 years ago, I was aware of a lot of bands, but not deep diving as I do these days. So if you haven't listened to, if there's any younger listeners who haven't listened to Feel the Darkness, I highly suggest you do. The guitar playing from Pig Champion is just absolutely phenomenal. It's just a really important record for all of punk and hardcore, and transcends very well throughout the genres. I know that a lot of people who don't necessarily listen to a ton of hardcore, that are more generally punk fans, love Poison Idea, and I mean I think a lot of hardcore kids do like it as well. But yeah, we're gonna move down the line from Poison Idea to something a little bit newer from Portland. We're gonna play the band Wurs. I believe I'm saying that correctly. I tried to find a correct explanation. I might get them like on the show at some point. There's a lot of different stuff going through, a very mixture of punk and metal and lots of different contemporary forms of punk, metal, and hardcore within this band. They just came out with a 2-song EP. First song is called Unsure. It's definitely more of the punk vibe. The other one is called Oblivion, which is definitely draws from a very heavier from a heavier field of music. So check it out. We're gonna play that right now, and then we will get to a few more. We're gonna get to a grip of requests. It's been a very weird time, so like sometimes I'm busy, sometimes I'm lazy. So thank you for listeners and friends for sending me stuff when I request it and kind of reach out to the crowd via social media. Because there are some things that I do miss in my searches. So I kind of just asked what people wanted to listen to this week, specifically stuff that's been new over the past 6+ months that we might have missed. And there's a few of them. So we're going to hit this song from Portland's Wurs, and we'll be back. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio.
Nothing
Here goes!
Flower Chains Collective.
I felt like I was watching a dream I'd never wake up from.
DIY clothing you can't get anywhere else.
Now you have something to look forward to after you die.
Information at flowerchains.us.
Every sound around the noise is drowned. I'm blowing to everyone about to your sweet love.
All right, we're back. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. This is episode 94. We're going to get to a interview, our first interview in like, wow, fucking forever, dude. This is the first time in a long time we've, I think, in probably 2 months now. I think early March was the last interview. This is the last time we've had this is the first time in 2 months we're doing a normal style episode, which I do. I slept on it. Chris is an essential worker, and he is technically back as a part of the show and kind of a co-host. I don't know what that means after post-pandemic, but he's been regularly a part of the show every once in a while. Last week we had the dudes from Disappear hanging out with me, and this is kind of the normal. I don't want to keep this as a normal because I don't think it's as entertaining. I'm definitely not as high energy. I mean, I can't feed off of much except a fucking hot box. It gets really fucking hot as summer approaches, which is another thing that's weird to fucking say. So I would imagine it's not as entertaining to the listeners. So getting to the point is probably of the utmost importance right now. Because this is all for you motherfuckers. And all these songs are from a lot of you motherfuckers out there. So we started off this set of all kind of just requests for the week. We started off with a band called Soul Charge, a metallic band from Cleveland, Ohio. Definitely a reminder, gives me vibes of Early Terror and Death Before Dishonor. Just a very kind of metallic, yet kind of very straightforward early to mid 2000s hardcore feel for a very specific vibe that definitely always takes me back to Terror and Death Before Dishonor style videos of hardcore dudes. The first really impression of hardcore were people in flat bills walking down the street, kind of yelling at the camera. We talked about in an episode, me and Devin talked about Shere Khan, and that was like, I would say peak. That Shere Khan video is like peak 2000s hardcore and of what we like to say, quote unquote, of an era. But Soul Charge was requested, and I'm digging it. So we played Sackcloth Grin is a new single that came out right at the beginning of May. After that, we played some music, which is more on the refined hardcore, metalcore tip of music. Members of Every Time I Die and Norma Jean, and it very shows in quality and in just proficiency in music. There's a lot of bands doing this style of music, like the band End, which I've been hearing just non-stop chatter about from my friends who really enjoy mosh and metalcore. And I know this is definitely not everyone's cup of tea, but I think my opinion is I think it's very weird if you are, this isn't, and I'm not saying for metalcore fans, for fans who like early metalcore and just like a few different records, like, oh, I like That Poison the Well, One Poison the Well, A Botch, and So record. If you just like a couple of them and you're not, you hand pick a couple that have stuck with you. I don't necessarily expect you to like like this style metalcore, but if you are completely delving into late 90s, early 2000s, even mid 2000s metalcore, when the lines get very blurred, if you are into all those styles of metalcore and don't like this, I think it's just fucking weird, man. People like to like a lot of late 90s and mid 2000s, but then when it gets to a weird crossroads of bands like Every Time I Die and even to say Ghost Inside, because Ghost Inside got in the Northwest, I mean, they played Rainfest and were very loved by a lot of Northwest hardcore for many years, even though they did take a turn for a different crowd of more metal kids enjoyed them. If I would say, I hate to say, probably more of like I don't want to quote, I'm saying it, like Jared Dines fans, they're more for the Jared Dines fans. Jared Dines is too big in I feel like his world to even care about what I say anymore. Even though me and him have had weird personal beef in the past, it doesn't matter because he's probably, as far as his count concerned, is Jared Dines is bigger than I will ever be, as far as I think as far as Dead Air is concerned. So anyway, I'm digging the I grew up liking the Every Time I Die style of music, listening to it in my teen years of hardcore influenced music before I really delve into hardcore. So I have a appreciation for this. And if you do, check out Teeth from Fort Erie, members of a lot of it's really easy to see where the influence comes from when you see the bands that the members that make up this group. After that, moved to we played the song Filth from Teeth, so check that out. Came out beginning of December. After that, we played Worst Self, which was, I believe, self-submitted from the band, I think. Band from Grand Rapids, Michigan. A very cool, raw, metallic band. Cites a lot of early 2000s heavy bands like Seven Angels, Seven Plagues. I definitely see some, at least the metallic elements of early Shai Hulud, especially vocal inflections as well. I was very impressed by this. We played Burn It Down from Everyone Is Replaceable EP that came out in September of 2019. After that, we played some noisy punk that kind of grabs from a little bit of everywhere in a hardcore punk realm, a little bit of sludge. Like I said, it's noisy and they just kind of do whatever they want. It's a band from Sheboygan. I've heard people say that name, but I've always I'm glad I got it first take. Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Never been to Wisconsin, but Sheboygan is very fun to say. We played Bad Trip off of Garbage Band's first 2 7-inch release that just came out middle of this month of May. And that's the second track. And we finished up the set with a band called Sweet Soul from from California, I believe the Bay Area. Members of Jawstuck and some other Bay bands doing a hardcore adjacent band that definitely has summer, little bit of pop punk vibes, pop rock that's reminiscent of bands such as Lemon Heads and Gin Blossoms. Like I said, and this current release kind of goes 3 new songs that came out just about a week and a half ago. We played Noises Drown, a single attached with 2 other songs. And like I said, it's a little bit more pop punky than the other music that I've heard from them that was submitted, I believe, last year. But all these songs are going to be out on a summer LP through New Morality Zine, so check that out. We're gonna get to we're gonna get to some more music, and then we're gonna get to another song, and then we'll get to our interview for the evening. We're gonna play a song that was submitted from Vladimir over at a record label called Delayed Gratification Records. We're playing a band called Stallchild, which was described to me as a band that sounds like Blue Monday, Go It Alone, and Modern Life is War. And when I heard it right off the tip, I heard a heavy Blue Monday, resemblance and influence in this. I believe they have an EP coming out at the end of the month. We'll probably play some tracks off that eventually, but this is from 2 songs that they released at the beginning of April. And this is a great time to just say that you can always request music, stuff you want to hear. If it's enough, if people do enough, nostalgic music from 5, 10, 20 plus years ago, I will be inclined to do a nostalgic episode, maybe an 80s, 90s, or what you have it, whatever style episode. I'll love to do something like that. A throwback episode is definitely fine in this era when music is starting to slow down. The releases are probably going to start to stop because all the backed up stuff that's getting that from the last couple months is finally getting out, and it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. But you can request stuff. You can submit stuff to deadairnwcz@gmail.com. Once again, deadairnwcz@gmail.com. And we will we get to mostly all of our submissions that kind of fit. We like to keep it hardcore, punk, hardcore adjacent, metalcore, any of the kind of surrounding genres that kind of pull from the hardcore scene. So please try to keep it to that. And also Dead Air, Facebook.com/Dead Air Hardcore Radio, and both on Twitter and Instagram at Dead Air NWCZ. Follow us, send us shit, get me more active on my socials. I try, but I'm fucking garbage. I'm sorry, guys. So, Stallchild, we're going to play from their demo, their 2020 demo. We're going to play Invariable, and then we'll get to that fucking interview. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio.
What's up, motherfuckers? This is Deadair telling you to check out the brand new Deadair website now. Go to deadair94radio.com for all podcasted shows as well as news, reviews, and content you can't get anywhere else. Go now or feel the wrath of my cold, hard robotic legs spin kicking you straight in the face.
All right, episode 94 of Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. More and more. I'm very happy to kind of start going into a direction of somewhat normal. Oh, since the quarantine began, I don't think I've had a band interview per se. Like, I haven't done chatted with people in bands too much. I've just kind of done the whole podcast stuff with my friends and talked hardcore because I don't know. It's obvious. It's hard to know the direction of just live, all ages, DIY music at this very moment in time. But I decided it is time to start getting the kind of band interview segment back up and running. So I got Danny, who has played in a few bands over the years, singing Drug Control, plays currently in a Headcount, and sings in a somewhat would you call it a quarantine project? Agenda?
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's starting out as. Rusty and I want to do some live shows at some point, whether I go up to the Northwest or he comes down here, but we'll probably play at some point.
Rusty played the Rainfest Drug Control set, correct? He played at somebody's set. I thought it was Drug Control.
Yeah, he played bass. Our bass player, this is the beginning of him turning into a total shithead. Not Aaron from Dare, the guy before him, but the dude before Aaron bailed on Rainfest last. So we hit Rusty up, and he was kind enough to fill in after learning the song in a few days and practicing only once. It was fucking sick.
Well, Rusty is very known for having a very vocal internet punk and hardcore presence, whether it's hardcore hot takes or just sitting down and chatting about hardcore. So how long have you been long distance friends with Mr. Rusty?
When did I meet? It was on a tour in probably 2014, I think is when I met him, maybe 2013. But it was at the Dial in Marietta, my old band Higher Learning, with them. So it was, I think I met him then.
Was that the first Safe and Sound tour, maybe?
Maybe.
I was on the first Safe and Sound tour as a just hanging out. I know I was hanging out with them the whole tour. That was the tour we did a Shea Cafe show on Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah, that was that tour because Drug Control played two songs at that or something like that. Because that was right when Drug Control was just starting.
Yeah, I remember that. So okay, yeah, no, I do remember. I do remember Higher Learning. So I do there was a lot of bands on that fucking tour. So I was just that was the first time I think I toured in general. So I was just it was just kind of overload of a bunch of fucking people I don't know. Cause I said it in the last. I love hardcore, but I'm not always the most social of people. So I was just like manning the fucking. I was like, I came to hang out and mosh. Like, I was like, I don't know, like when I manned the merch table and I was talking to people and I was just like, I was out of my fucking element. Like, this is my element right now, talking about hardcore, like just like doing it over the phone. But like, there was just a lot of people that ended up actually like being like longtime friends or people that have been, like that have been on the program. But like, that was just a wild, like, I can't believe that was like almost 7 years ago now to think about that.
Like, it's nuts that like it's been 4 years since the last Rainfest. Like, that's fucked up. I feel like that was just like last year in like my brain, but nah, it's been 4 years. Like this weekend, pretty much.
Ugh, I don't fucking like that at all. Like, well, so let's just go down the resume of you for people who haven't listened to, who might have just started listening to like Headcount and might not know anything about like your prior efforts. So go over a little bit of your punk and hardcore resume.
Cool. So we'll start at like the beginning, I guess. I played guitar in this skate thrash band, like skate punk band, like very like aggression and like nardcore style, in like 2010. That was called Blind Nun. And that lasted for a few years. We would play around like Southern California. And then I played bass in this DB like power violence band called Concussion. We did the same thing, like only played around Southern California, pretty much just LAOC area, a couple of times down here in San Diego. And then I played in a pop punk band called Ackerman. Didn't do all that much. Played Cali. And that band ultimately fizzled out because a couple of the guys moved away. And then I started a band called Repel. It's just like a youth crew band that I sang for, and I was first time I ever actually like did vocals in the band. We got to play some sick shows. We played Destroy LA, that fest that happened in 2012 with Infest and Chain. So that was super sick. We played the last, or no, I don't think that was that last one. We played one of the later Mindset shows in Pomona. Got to open up for Terror down here in San Diego at the Che. And then I ended up moving back home to San Diego, and then started Drug Control. We put out 3 records on, was it Coin Toss was the first one. And then we put out 2 records on New Age Records. And then all 3 of those 7s were also put out by a label called Straight and Alert out in France, which is no longer around, but they were sick. Alexis plays in 2 really sick bands right now, Insecurity and Schizoid. You should go check them out. And then Drug Control broke up. And my buddy Matt, who had filled in for Drug Control a couple of times, told me he was starting this band, sent me over basically a full recorded demo, and he's like, hey, do you want to play guitar in Headcount? Is what we ended up calling it. And then that's been going strong since, like, probably it's been about a year that we like actually started playing, but we didn't actually play a show until November. And then because of all this quarantine stuff, like I've been chatting with people online a lot more. Rusty was like, yo, if you ever want to like sing in a band again, I'll write a demo for you if you have a way to record vocals. So that's how Agenda got started. Rusty recorded and programmed all the like drum track up in, he's in Tacoma or Kent or something like that. And then sent him to me, and I went up to the Che Cafe and recorded vocals for myself. And that's where we're at.
And it's a pretty fucking good quarantine demo. I think I saw somebody who was just like, I was hoping for a little more, and I was just like, then what? It says it's a quarantine demo, and it specifically states where it was all fucking like recorded. So I was like, I thought that was a fucking great demo. So I was just like, also the place it was posted is like a known shit talking Facebook thread. So I was just like, whatever.
I'm kind of disappointed I didn't see that. Where was that posted?
It was posted I don't like to get too much into other shows. It was another podcast thread it was a podcast group where somebody was like, I was hoping for more quality, and I was like, in a demo? Like, you I was like, I know exactly like where this is all coming from, and like I thought this was like perfect quality for the exact type of music that you guys were like trying to aim for. So I found that, I was like, that's really fucking silly. Also I've heard like you can go on like Bandcamp and listen to some like other like isolation sessions or quarantine demos. There was one that was like recorded in a bathroom, and it sounded
hell yeah
really bad. It sounded like it was recorded in the bathroom, and it was not good.
Oh yeah, dude, Drug Control made some awful sounding ass demos, but like, I mean, it's a demo. Like, what more can you ask for? Like, if a demo sounds too good, it's like weird to me. I expect demos to be like shit quality or like recorded in a bathroom or some weird shit like that.
I don't know. I love the balance though. It's like I think it's a well like balanced and recorded demo, especially like for the time it took to. I'm sure the turnaround time to put this all together was quite fast.
Dude, straight up like a week. Like another day would go by and Rusty is like, "Hey, I wrote another song." It's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you're working full time. How are you doing this? But like, it was sick. And like, even like right now, we're still like milling away and like trying to work on some new stuff.
Like, he's done the same thing to me. He made some heavy fucking like early 90s Sepultura sounding stuff, and he's been sending me all the like fucking 90s mosh metal and types of. He's like, would you want to do something on this? And I'm like, I don't know. And he just randomly sends me shit like, and I was just like, damn. He was like, I was like, where's this all coming from? Rusty's fucking mind is just never fucking stops.
You still there? Because I think I might have got cut off.
Oh, I'm here. You're good.
Okay. I don't know what happened.
Oh, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, Rusty sends me like all sorts of wild shit. He sent me like this like straight up like Undertow worship thing earlier today, and it was fucking sick. Like, the dude is a machine at writing music.
He's just like, I listen to this, so I want to do this.
Yeah, I'm stoked on what we're doing with Agenda. Like, it's been super fun to just like bounce ideas off one another and like get to do music together when we obviously don't live close. But this like next round of whatever it ends up being, whether it's just a tape or if someone's motivated enough to want to put it out for whatever reason, like, I think we're actually going to record live drums. The drummer of Headcount said that he would record some drums for it. So hopefully we'll sound a little bit better quality. Maybe they will appease the other podcast thread.
Yeah. Who cares? There's some pretty whack takes, and the person who heads that thread knows exactly. It's the fucking punk and hardcore Wild West, and that's the way they like it. It's they just spout off whatever shit they want. So it is what it is. So with
that's totally fine.
With Agenda, So kind of self-proclaimed, like it politically charged, kind of pulling from like man lifting banner stuff like that. But they're also on the other side, on the demo is there is no lyrics attached. Is that a vibe?
Oh, like on Bandcamp or whatever?
Yeah, there are no lyrics on Bandcamp.
I mean, I just never sent him to Rusty, and I haven't gone on Bandcamp to like put them on there myself. I probably should at some point, just so people can like decipher what I've said. But I mean, you nailed it. Like very politically charged, like very in the vein of Man Lifting Banner and like Seeing Red and all of those Crucial Response Records bands that got put out in the 90s.
So, because I would say personally, like, because with I could see Rusty being like, let's put out a political band, but not post any of the lyrics. That sounds like a Rusty thought process to me. Like 100%.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I could see it, but no, it's not intentional. I just never put the lyrics up. They're like, I think they're like sitting next to me somewhere in the living room right now. So I would just need to type them up and like put them on there.
So not to like go too far on just the side project, but with an agenda just to speak on the lyrics, since there are none currently to see. Not that they're not the hardest vocals to make out. In what political vein are you trying to are you trying to aim for? What are you trying to aim for in a political message via this band and demo?
I mean, I would classify it like under like socialism and communism, like very like Marxist motivated lyric. I'm reading On Practice and Contradiction by Mao Zedong right now too. So like there's a lot of like stuff from that and like taken from like various writings throughout the years of like various leftist individuals, but like in the vein of like Marxism and Leninism.
And so moving off of that, because that's a project for the future. So now like the main project is Headcount. You guys just put out a promo. You've had a couple. You've had a release through Safe Inside Records, and kind of walk me through what's going on. What's the aim for Headcount?
The promo is 2 songs that are going to be on an LP. The LP is written. I think we have like 2 more songs that we need to actually like learn and then like just nail it all down. But the goal is it's going to be on an LP is for what's next. And then hopefully do some touring around that whenever like we're able to safely be back out on the road.
And then currently so we talked a little bit about it. Like I got to visit the venue before, but you work with you are involved with Shea Cafe. In what capacity are you involved in? For how long?
Very, very heavily. So I'm one of the core members there, and that's like the people who help like facilitate and run the spot. I've been volunteering there for 6 years, but I started going there when I was 15, so about 15 years ago. But when I moved back to town, then we started drug control. I was just like, it's time to actually like get involved and be a part of the space, because I wanted to be able to book shows there, and that's like the easiest way to get a spot to do shows is if you're actually actively involved and not just relying on others to do it. So now I run sound. I will cook in the kitchen if someone else is running sound. I help manage the finances and making sure all of our like nonprofit paperwork is filed. Pretty much just like a jack of all trades of anything venue wise.
So with that Shea Cafe, how's it faring in the current state of the world?
So for those who don't know, we are on the UCSD campus, which is a university here in San Diego. So after they tried to shut us down the last time, which that's a whole other story. But when we got our new, because we're technically a student organization of the campus, we were able to renegotiate our lease to where we only pay a very, very minuscule amount for rent, because most of the other student orgs don't have to pay any rent on spaces that they have. So we're faring like very well. We just like pre-order for shirts, and then we're benefiting another venue here in town that has helped us out in the past when we were struggling, and then 2 coffee shops who helped us out and like supplied us with stuff. So we're really mostly focusing on making sure that others are able to stay afloat, because it's not as big of a stressor for us as it is for most of the other venues and shops around town.
Yeah, because I honestly, you said it, because I thought in my mind, I was like, I don't remember if it was public knowledge. It might have been, it wasn't something I dwelled too much. I thought there was like, yeah, a threat at one point of Chez Cafe. At one point, I thought in my mind, I thought Chez Cafe was not non-existent for a brief moment in time. So, but I'm glad to hear that that it still exists. Like I said, I'm the one time I got to go there, even though it was a very like small gathering of bands and people, like it was just kind of it was what you want from a small spot. Like it was just like an overall just fucking fun time. It's a cool looking venue. It's a nice area as well.
Yeah, it's a special place for sure. Like it's pretty wild, like thinking people who have played that spot. But yeah, they did try to shut us down. We occupied the space for almost 6 months pretty much. And then once we finally got like our new lease, we were shut down for about a year or so, while they did some improvements on the space that they had been telling us we needed to do, and they were trying to refuse us, but we eventually won that battle, and they did all the improvements. So we're good for years to come now, which is very fucking sick.
No, I'm very glad. Hopefully one day I'll get to revisit the venue. That was like kind of just like a high point of that tour. Just even though it was such a small, it was just like fun. And I remember getting on a Safe and soundtrack and accident, almost like fucking blowing out the speakers on accident, because I didn't realize I was like way fucking loud. I was way louder than fucking Jackson, and I like grabbed the mic and like it was literally just feedback. But it was just like everybody just fucking laughed, and it was like fucking, it was just like a very family vibe. And I know like as far as parts of the US, like people don't have that. Like we've had, like Seattle has had that in venues, and currently like there's a couple places that still like hold a certain vibe, but that's like those are places to be fucking cherished, like 100%.
You would not have been the first person to blow out a speaker by any means. It's happened a lot.
What are you looking forward to the most when hardcore comes back into the world?
Playing, like pretty much right when all the stay-at-home orders were like going into effect was like when Headcount was supposed to go out and like play like 3 or 4 shows out of town. So it's like a major bummer to like put a complete fucking nail in that momentum that we had going. So we were practicing every other week because our bass player lives up in Orange County, and then like gearing up to record an LP, and then like all of this starts. So it's just, I just have that urge to like get out and play and record this LP, because I'm very stoked on the tracks that are going to be on it. And I never thought I would like enough music that I would be a part of to like actually record an LP. So it's kind of like mind blowing to me that we're going to get to do.
Yeah. And I think it's just like, I think it's perfect timing just because like, but with like shows like I have a like it's a weird vibe because like see so like obviously there's the whole thing of orders of no fucking moshing, no fucking just sit and just chill and watch the show. Seattle, I feel like that's not a fucking hard thing for Seattle because I know every person who moshes for Seattle hardcore by name and I can count them on finger. Like, so it's like not, so it like, I could just tell them to stop fucking moshing. So I'm like, does the future of hardcore even exist until we can have like a hands-on experience?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be a weird vibe. I mean, like I've played countless shows where people don't mosh. San Diego can be a very hard city to please, but like I will say I don't think I've ever played a bad show in the Northwest. I feel like every time I played up there, like there was people moshing, which was very tight. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be a weird vibe for sure. Like I don't know if I would want to tour on a tour where like people couldn't mosh or like move around at all.
Yeah, like I this you're the first person I've asked, like, because like for a more straight ahead youth crew and stuff like straight ahead hardcore, like I think it can exist, like people like depending on what city you're in, like I see a lot of people just sing along to the fucking songs or just like chill and nod their heads to music when it comes to like anything that's more like people can restrain themselves to not mosh in a more punk centric hardcore atmosphere. So I think for that it's different. I also, yeah, I know it's just like it's a hard thing to even like wrap your head around,
Yeah, I mean these times are just, it's wild, like to think about what we're going through right now and what it's going to look like coming through the other side in like more than just music, in life and how society will function. Because I feel like there's no going back to the way it was. That's for sure.
And also just politically in general, like this is going to fuel a lot of be a lot of fuel for politically charged bands. I mean, with what's going on top of just the United States has an election coming up that people are completely ignoring. So, or at least I would say most people are not paying as much attention. So it's definitely a weird fucking time.
Yeah, that's a complete understatement. Like the fact that we're going to have an election during all of this is nuts. It's like the only way I can think to describe it is just like it's absolutely fucking crazy.
It's fucking scary that it's what it is. Like I don't like talk about a thing you can't like even like wrap your head around. Like so many aspects. Like that's why I almost just like I'm just focusing on the like shows and music and just wanting that to get back because it's the only thing that fucking like it's the only thing I have any like stake in. I mean we have stake in this whole fucking existence, but it's the only thing I feel like I can effectively put some energy into.
Yeah, I feel that completely. Like I mean I do a number of other things, but yeah, like I deeply care about playing music and like booking shows and all that, so I miss it very, very much.
Well, I think also on that aspect it's like a lot of us are people who have branched out into just helping our communities, have learned and have grown through this music and DIY and through venues like Chez Cafe and just other places around the world that are like that. So it's just like it's hard for me not to focus because it's like that's where I kind of just like go to find some sort of balance in life to possibly take that into the rest of the world.
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
Like I'm sure I would have some sort of, positive output in the world, but I feel like it's not the same without hardcore or without DIY, without punk, like 100%. So
I feel you. Like every so often, I'll like sit back and think I wonder what life would be like if I had never attached myself to this weird like lifestyle, if you want to call it that. Like if I was just like some straight up fucking normie that like didn't give a fuck about politics or like any of that. It just seems like such a mundane, miserable existence, if I'm being honest.
well, and this is just a weird time because it's just like we have like a stagnation where people can't, like, the only way people can access hardcore is through the internet. So like what is that going to look like? That could look really cool or really weird. Like imagine there's a kid who's getting to like go through like catalogs of punk music right now and have never, like, tons of kids doing it, and maybe that could be like a fucking really cool thing. And or on the other side of that, there's people who decide that just after this, like, they're not gonna, they started going to shows and they're never gonna go to a show again.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I think that when people are allowed to go back to shows and returning to whatever semblance of normality that we're going to have, I think shows are going to do much better than they had been because people are like realizing what they're missing out on. But like in terms of like what's going on now and like people pretty much having to depend on the internet for their music, I wish that like right now, I mean, like there's a couple groups, like there's the Deadair group, the No Echo group, and like the Youth Crew group on Facebook, but it's like nothing compared to what like message boards were in like the mid 2000s, like early 2010s. I feel like if those were around right now and like people were using them, they would be like popping with activity.
I tend to agree with that. That's where I got to grow and learn and find out a lot about just like people in general. Facebook has a certain vibe to it. Like there's always like, obviously there's the B9 where like where I feel like it's similar to Facebook in the way people kind of shit talk, and like same with that group I was talking about earlier. So there's groups like that, but I don't know. I was able, there was just something, it was more personal in my opinion. I was able to really get to know people in a way that social media wouldn't allow.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like there used to be this like Orange County hardcore group or hardcore message board that I was like super active on all the time when I lived up in that general area. And like I miss that. Like you said, like Facebook has this general vibe to it where it's just, I mean, it's social media, and message boards weren't social media. They were their own entity.
I think also it has to do with like just like us, like at this point now that like hardcore Facebook groups are a thing. It's been a decade has passed and we are desensitized by social media and the height of it and the height of the shit talking and the height of the political back and forth from people all around. And I think a hardcore message board was something without, when Facebook wasn't like what it is now. I think a hardcore message board was something a lot different, and it's just like it was something new, and people didn't treat it like another piece of social media because, like you said, it wasn't social media.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you wanted to like find out something about whoever you were like responding to, like they had a profile, but at most it was probably going to have like their Twitter handle and their like MySpace URL or their Facebook URL, but like what you couldn't like take a dive into their life like you can on Facebook, and I think that adds a weird element to the social aspect of it.
Like, and I hate to like go into it, but it's like everybody knows. There's also a reason why I created the Dead Air Facebook group, because I wanted it to be specifically about music. A lot of Northwest and bands that aren't getting talked about on other, other Facebook groups, like, or other hardcore forums. So, but like the Pacific Northwest one just got trashed with people going at each other's throats over
that the Pacific Northwest like hardcore group that was on there.
Yeah, it still is on there, but it's just,
yeah,
that's why I created what I did, because I was just like, I try to get as many people to come up, because like we don't talk about that shit, we talk about hardcore. Like like if there's a problem like that's going on in our community, I will address it. But like it got people just went over each other's throats, and it was just like very like people who are no longer involved in hardcore whatsoever now, and people came in and just like tore it to shreds, to where people, like when people tried to do like talk about music again, it never was the same.
No, I mean, like the Dead Air group has been sick, and like, I mean, I've only posted in it a couple of times, but I feel like I've gotten like good feedback and response to like both things that have been posted, like the Headcount and the Agenda stuff. So like, it's sick. Like, I mean, it's still a Facebook group, but it's got a good vibe to it for sure.
Yeah, it's still a small group, and it's a compared to others, but I'm working on it. This has been a weird time, because it's just like I've been just as busy as I always am. Like I have my hand. That's why sometimes I'm a little bit short on Facebook, because like I'm dipped in a lot of different projects, like whether it's hardcore or broadcasting. I now run the radio station that this show is broadcasted out of. So I got like,
oh, sick.
Yeah, I got handed the keys to it right at the beginning of this quarantine, and a lot of people just like kind of like up and left. So I'm like kind of doing like a rebrand of the station in a sense. And I've been like putting countless hours into a lot of different stuff. So I'm like, for me, it's just like, I don't know, like without hardcore, I'm doing the same thing as I always do. It's just sucks that I don't get to go to a show to fucking unwind.
Yeah, I mean, my whole job has changed. Like I work in education, so everything I do is now online from home. So it's like a total upset from my normal way of life. But it's like, on the flip side, it's giving me more time to like focus on other things and like read, which has been very tight.
Yeah.
Plus, didn't Caton used to help host the show at one point too?
He was the original host. I was his intern.
That's right.
He got married, so I haven't seen him since that.
Yeah, I like, it popped into my head. I was like, fuck, I haven't talked to him in a long ass time, and I went to like look him up on Facebook, but he's not on Facebook anymore.
Probably
gotta hit that dude. Gotta hit him up.
Yeah, probably for the best. Like, he just seemed like, in the general thing, sense of life, he just wanted to start,
You cut out on me this time, so I don't know what you said.
Oh, it's all good. I was just saying that with as far, not to go too far in Caton, like Caton, I think the last time we used to be on the college radio station, and I think the last time me and him talked was 3 years ago when he came up for the last show where Caton, Kevin, Ian, the entire 14-year cast of this show. Actually, it's more than 14 now. 3 years ago it was 14. It's now fucking July. Dead Air has been existing as a show in general for almost 17 years.
That's nuts.
Yeah,
I can't believe that last episode with him was 3 years ago. What the fuck? That's wild.
Yeah, before he took off not to go too far, and Kane doesn't get. Actually, I did talk to him because I made the on my website. I did the 2010 Northwest Hardcore timeline of just I compiled literally every single Northwest Hardcore band, almost very close to most of at least most of my favorite Northwest Hardcore bands from 2010 to 2019. And I talked to him through that because he was in a short-lived band called Moving On.
I still wear my Moving On shirt pretty regularly. I booked him at Shea the time they came down here.
Yeah, they did one small. That was his. He had a plan, and he went through it. Everything for the most part went to his plan. He was like, I only want to do one release total. I just want to get out there. I want to. So he got on a tour, I believe, in 2015 or something.
Mm-hmm.
He did a tour. They released a thing. They played Rainfest, and then they stopped playing shows because that was his whole. He'd been for 2 years. That was his master plan. That's
yeah. I mean, he nailed it.
He had a goal, and he didn't. He's like, I don't want to. I just want to make a solid few songs, play them. I think the tour was with The Scare, and then just poof, and then I didn't see him for almost. I saw him on and off a little bit for 2 years. Then he came to that final Dead Air show at KGRG in 2017, and that is about it. Then he got married. So that for any of our listeners who have been like, where the hell is K10? That is about as much info as I have.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the same for me. I talked to him a couple times after he got married, but it was over text, and you can only talk so much to someone over text. So,
dude, I don't fucking
miss him. I hope he's doing well.
Yes, X K10 Mioli X of Moving On. Hope you're I don't know.
I don't know how we ended up at this point, but
it's okay.
Yeah, no,
it's a conversation. I told you, I don't like to. I put a couple words on my phone. I put a couple points, and I just see where the shit goes. So that there you go. I guess that's a great time to end it then, because now I can't think of anything else but random shit.
I mean, we could go there for sure. There's random shit for days. But I will say, I hope to make it up to the Northwest and play with either Agenda or Headcount or both. The Northwest has always held a special place in my heart for going and playing hardcore or going to hardcore shows. So I definitely want to make it up there.
I think that's one reason I wanted to even talk to you in the first place, just because you said that when there's been, I know since you talked to a lot of people, or talked to at least a few people from our neck of the woods, since Rainfest, it's been, I think everybody knows that that Seattle's been like kind of weird. Like, even like I listened to Axe to Grind and they were just like, even them like were like, why would anyone go to Seattle? Like, people said it was like the only reason that I guess they said was it was a cool place to visit. And I'm just like, man, that really sucks. I was like, it used to be like, dude, I love Rainfest. I love all these fucking bands and all these cool people, and I love hanging out with my Northwest friends. Not, oh man, it's a cool place to visit.
Yeah, I mean, Drug Control played Seattle after Rainfest, and it was still like a very sick show. So I think that's an odd mindset to have. But no diss on them by any means. But like, I've had a great time visiting, playing, and going to shows up there. And I was stoked that Zach started booking shows again. And I really hope that he continues after all of this quarantine stuff, because I think that was a good thing for the scene for sure.
Yeah, unfortunate, dude. We actually were having a good for a good couple months, and with some constant shows, like at least, like with, I would say for the Northwest there was at least a couple shows, a few, about 2 to 3 a month, with like big ones with a couple little ones sprinkled in, like a healthy amount of shows. And I was pretty excited. I think the last show was like one of the heavier shows. I think it was that Sanction show. Like the last show I went to was like a more like heavy hardcore show, but that show at Real Art was just another gig. I've talked about it countless times. That was an awesome moment for anyone who's been involved in hardcore for a long time and has been waiting to see a Northwest hardcore come back.
Yeah, I was real bummed that I couldn't make it up for that. And I know he had posted that he was going to do another one in June, and I was like real stoked because I was probably going to be able to like make those days work or make that day work or whatever. And fucking Rona times happened, and that put a full stop on like any and all travel plans that I had for this year.
Absolutely. And man, yeah, it is it's rough because like also it's just like that's just like me. Like I feel like in life things were like, for anyone who has felt this vibe, because I know in some ways I'm like, things are the same because I'm just as busy and I'm working on stuff all the time, and I didn't have a lot of time to be like home and stuff. So this is kind of cool to be home when I didn't get to, because like I basically just worked and slept. So this is cool in that aspect, but things were getting better in that aspect for me in my personal life, because like shows were happening in the Northwest again. I got a raise and a promotion for my respective job, and I just got out of debt. So I was like, cool, this is awesome. And just a couple weeks after all of that, then this all happened. So it's just like, damn, it just sucks it sucks for everyone. But I just like, if you had some really good, if your life was turning around for the first time in a long time and you're listening out there, I feel for you, because that just happened for me.
Yeah, that's fuck that. That's rough.
Yeah,
I mean, I agree, and I feel you.
So, I think like we've been talking on and on. So, what are your last words, Mr. Danny?
Enjoy the time that you have at home. Like, look up new bands, post on the internet, and don't be a dick. Hope to see you soon.
I like that. Post on the internet. Don't be a dick. I kind of like not to go on again. I do like what I'm saying, like for like Dead Air and a group and also No Echo, just because like for the most part it's been pretty like nice. Just like, hey, check out this band, or not you haven't heard this band, you suck, or this band sucks. Just like people just check out bands, check out hardcore, invest time in something that, if this means something to you, find a way to invest your time into it, whether it's, going to a show, helping out with venues, try to buy merch from bands if you have the means, if there's ways to help out your local venues in this time of need. Go out and ask them. Real Art needs help, needs donations. I'm sure a lot of other venues need them as well. So just because life for some is getting back to normal, just because a few people are getting back to work, does not mean anything is changing dramatically anytime soon. So please be mindful of that, and be mindful of, the rest of the world, the rest of the people who can't get back to normal, and the things that will not get back to normal for quite some time. I guess those are my last words.
Yeah. Last thing, you talked about it earlier, but that election is coming up in November. Like, don't forget about that. Like, stay informed, realize what's going on. That the Democratic National Party is basically the same thing as the Republicans at this point. Like, do your research, know who you're voting for, know why you're voting for them. Because it might not matter a ton, but like your votes do matter, especially in local elections.
Yeah, arm your fucking minds. Be able to just decipher what's going on. I know there's a lot. It's easy to look inward, but also look out with what's going on in the world. You may not think it affect you, but it definitely can at some point. So you got to have a healthy balance of, you just got to have a healthy balance of information, and of just like with this, you got to, with the coronavirus, you got to have a healthy balance of concern. Also, you got to, I had a point, but I lost it. A healthy balance of, just a healthy balance of concern.
That sums it up. Take care of yourself. Stay in. That's it.
All right, so we're gonna play some music from the new Headcount promo, and then we'll play a track from Agenda. Anything else you want to say about these tracks?
What are you playing?
Let's play the second track from Agenda. We'll play Push to the Edge, and then we'll do first track from the Headcount promo, Watch It Grow.
I mean, Watch It Grow, like, I have nothing to do with the lyrics, but basically, like, a small thing can, like, start something big. So, I don't know, be mindful. Put your ear to the ground and, like, know what's going on in your city. If there's any organizations you align yourself with, be a part of them and be a part of change that you can enact in whatever way in your life or in your town or in your work, like, to make things better for others and not worse.
That's like a better way of, that's basically what I was trying to say at the end, but I'm glad we stopped on that, because that's basically what I was trying to say, but the song said it better.
Yeah, I mean, that same kind of thing with the Agenda track. Like, it's very easy to be put to a point where you're told that your opinion is wrong, and you're told that, like, what you think is wrong and what everything you know is wrong. but you reach a breaking point where like you can't just sit idly by. Like, you gotta do something about it. That's what I could say about the Agenda track. Read a book. Read State and Revolution by Lenin. Read anything by Marx, as dense as it can be. Like, it will seriously open your mind to like the faults of the democratic system and capitalist system that we're living in right now.
Absolutely. On that note, we're gonna play those two tracks, Watch It Grow by Headcount from the new promo, and from the demo 2020, we're gonna play Push to the Edge by Agenda. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio.
Agenda, silence, let's go! What are you gonna do? It was to the end. Everything, no matter what to that chance! When it's all on the run, we fall and trouble. I stand when it's all from the trap. But and more, God makes us more. Victor, true, and all. The choice is yours.
Remember what it was like without real art shows? Kind of like now. Fucking bummer, dude. Make sure we still have an all-ages venue after all of this. Donate at realarttacoma.com/donate.
Everybody knows that I wanna die for my choice. Time to die. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. Moment or fucking lose it. Find your own way home. Get fucked.
All right, we're back. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. This is the end of episode 94. Slowly getting to those triple digits, baby. Thank you for putting up with my solo DJ talk. Getting a little bored, but I'm sorry. So I'm sorry if I bore you a little bit, but thank you for listening. Shout out to Danny. Check out Headcount and Agenda. Both have new music out of the last month and a half. Good shit from San Diego. Just good straight up punk hardcore. After the After the Headcount and Agenda tracks, we played Scarecrow, and I don't remember if I don't exactly remember if I played a track from this band, but they're from Raleigh, North Carolina. We played Adaption off their latest Revenge EP that came out right at the beginning of the year. Came released off of Bunker Disc and Tapes. Some just very fast to the point. Punk, hardcore, D-beat influenced from Raleigh. Also used to have family in Raleigh and visited. Just, it was a nice place to visit. That I visited roughly like 2000 and 2001. My aunt had a really fucking cool ass pool there. So check it out. Very quick listen, and those are my favorite listens these days. Something that is fucking punk and fast. After that, we played some music from the UK, Vision Quest. They have their latest EP titled Bear Witness that came out in April. Check it out. Another just like fast hardcore punk band. A little bit, not even by much, but I think the longest track is 2 seconds under 2 minutes. So another really quick fast hardcore out of the UK. We played the second track off the release titled Psych. After that, we played a band called Blood Trust in their debut demo from Chicago, Illinois. Another, like I said, we're just kind of going through a little 3-song block of really fast hardcore punk. And we played the track titled Poison. Yeah, everything we played is under 2 minutes. So for shit like this, what's not to like? It's very self-explanatory hardcore that you just click and you know where it's coming from. You press play, and you're in and out. Hardcore. There you go. Next 2 tracks are a little bit more on the heavier side. We played from San Jose, California. We played You Lose, which is a beatdown project. We played No Rules. I believe they're going to be on a upcoming release. And San Jose, Bay Area is really fucking killing it with all types of fucking hardcore. And it's just fucking mosh. After that, we played another band from San Jose called Castaway. They have a 3-song EP titled Where Is Your Power? Came out this month. We played I Saw the Blood. Very reminiscent of kind of Poison the Well, with especially with the clean style vocals in the middle of the song. I definitely enjoyed that. So check it out. A very early 2000s metalcore, hardcore sounding band. And let's see what we got with the time before I have to get the fuck out of here. Well, we're almost done. So once again, you can check us out. Facebook.com/Deadair Hardcore Radio. We also have the Deadair Hardcore Radio group where you can share your shit and talk about hardcore, hang out, get to know the show, get to know people in the Northwest better. If you have music, you can share it. Also, you can send us an email, deadairnwcz@gmail.com. Follow us wherever you consume podcasts, whether it's Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Anchor, and more. Deadairhardcoreradio.com is where we tie all that shit together. Also, we are both on Instagram and Twitter at DeadAirNWCZ. So we're going to end this with a really fucking fast track from Criminal Instinct. And this is how I like my fucking... I know they have some longer songs, but this is how I like Criminal Instinct. This is Skull Fucked. I really like that it has a. This is the only like kind of pandemic clip from what's going on in the world right now that I think I like in a song. So I think it was very good and topical. They have, they have 2 new songs. Check them out. And we're out of here. You're listening to Dead Air, 2 hours of hardcore radio. This is Skull Fucked by Criminal Instinct.
Aren't you concerned you could infect other people if you get sick inside?
No.
People who don't go to this.
No. I'm covered in Jesus' blood. I'm covered in Jesus' blood.